The Gila Bend Indian Reservations Land Replacement Act of 1986 that provided this land was to give tribes, this particular tribe, land to replace tribal land that was flooded by a federal dam project. This was not a treaty. This was a good faith effort on the part of Congress to replace land that had been displaced by a federal dam project. This casino is illegitimate under the 1986 bill, as the original intent did not include gaming as a purpose for the replacement land. It is illegitimate under the 1988 bill because the Tohono Nation's proposed casino was outside that compact.
The Gila Bend Act was enacted prior to the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, so that when the act sought to replace lands that were flooded for the Tohono Nation, that was what the bill was intended to do. It was not intended to create a gaming situation here in Maricopa County. And as far as simply an economic battle between tribes, the implications are a lot more significant and long range than that, because this will affect not only the West Valley but the whole state of Arizona potentially, if you're going to talk about statewide gaming, because that's ultimately where this is leading.
We are fighting in court to prevent the development of this casino, which is being imposed on the city against the will of its citizens. They don't, the people of Las Vegas have chosen their lifestyle. People who move to Las Vegas choose to live in that lifestyle. The people in Glendale have chosen a different lifestyle, not a casino. No one was told that the Tohono O'odham would be purchasing land within Glendale, making that part of the reservation and bringing in a casino. The land was purchased under the name of a foreign corporation to hide who was really doing it. It was the Rainier Corporation. It even has a foreign sound to it.
The record is clear that at the time of the negotiations and very quickly afterwards, the Tohono O'odham Nation government purchased land, have it taken into trust and develop a casino here. And the Glendale parcels were some of that purchase that occurred soon after the negotiations and after the passage of Prop 202. The leadership that is expressed by Congressman Franks will resolve the issues caused by the activities of the Tohono O'odham Nation here in Glendale, and that activity jeopardizes the state gaming compacts for all tribes in Arizona, and also poses the threat of more casinos in any county island in Maricopa County.
The Tohono O'odham Reservation is over 100 miles from here, and for them to come in and assert that this is now a reservation land inside the city of Glendale without ever asking Glendale or ever talking with them or getting any sort of agreement with them at all is pretty outrageous. It is a precedent of significant magnitude, and we need to make sure that across the nation in general that no one can come in without transparency, buy land, and declare it a reservation in the center of a city. Every city in America would be vulnerable to such duplicity, and we just can't let that happen.
This is happening in various places throughout the country. Congressman Franks recognizes that, and he has really taken the initiative to address the issue, which can end up really hurting Indian nations, certainly in Arizona, but in other places too, if not brought under control.
Now, I know that the Tohono O'odham has expressed that they want to generate jobs, and that's been one of their primary focuses here. But let me say to you, there's nothing in this bill that prevents them from creating all jobs in other ways that they can. Far more dynamic ways to create more jobs, whether it's to build hotels or whatever they want that is not a Las Vegas casino-style project.
We respect the right of the Tohono O'odham Nation to develop the 134 acres of land if done as every other landowner and developer is required to do. The land does not need to be removed from state and local jurisdictions and converted into an Indian reservation in order for the nation to build the office buildings, hotels, resorts, shopping centers, and residences they speak of.
It's not an easy thing for me as a tribal leader to stand here and talk about a lack of good faith, and I do so reluctantly. However, we have to stand up today, we have to speak today, because in the future, if things go as we fear, we don't want to have to look at ourselves and say amongst ourselves, we should have said something back in 2011. I'm glad to know that there is a groundswell of support for the Franks bill. I'm hopeful that this legislation will be enacted soon so that the issue can be resolved with certainty, and hope also hope that the gaming policy of balance that was achieved by the voters, by the tribes, and by the state of Arizona can be maintained.